Hey guys, Will here again, and welcome back to another battle report. Today I'm taking on Sam's Khorne Daemonkin. Now, if you're a regular on my channel, you'll have seen these guys before. They're the army that won the Battle of 8 Armies, and the Eldar army I'm using is obviously my Eldar army that I'm planning to take to Ultimate Commander. So this should be a good game here, two very competitive armies. The board, we're down here at 40k Gaming again. Got this nice sort of woodlands with rock spires board over here. We've rolled up Spoils of War, which is Dawn of War deployment, and you're allowed to steal your opponent's hold objective number markers. Yeah, it's going to be 1850 points, and Eldar have won the roll-off to go first. Okay, so the Eldar have set up first, trying to spread out and make the best use of cover for our bikes. So I've got one unit of scatter bikes over there by that objective, and the Falcon's taking some sort of protection by the pillar. That's got the Fire Dragon squad in there. Then the first wave Serpent is a little bit out in the open, but his Serpent shield should protect him. That's got the Dire Avengers in. Then in this woods here I've got my second squad of Dire Avengers, and behind them my Farseer and his jet bike squad. Then off to their side we've got the second wave Serpent. That's got the Wraith Guard and the Spirit Seer. For the Spirit Seer's powers I managed to roll up Invisibility and Shrouding from the telepathy table, and then he's got Psychic Shriek as well as the Primaris. Then we've got the Dark Reapers looking to get up onto the rocks, get some good shooting done off there, and then a final unit of jet bikes here. So that is the Eldar army, and then in reserves I've got a unit of Warp Spiders and a unit of Swooping Hawks. All the Aspect Warriors in this are in the Aspect Host formation. As for my Warlord trait, I rolled up the one that allows you to score 2 points instead of 1 when your Warlord scores an objective marker. And my powers for my Farseer, I've got Mind War, Fortune, Will of Asurian, and Guide. Sam's Warlord is in reserves. That's going to be a Herald of Khorne. He's also got a Demon Prince and 5 units of Bloodletters in reserves. We've got Fleshhound scouted forward here, second unit scouted forward there, 2 Soul Grinders, Rhino with a unit of Possessed in there, and then the Blood Crushers over that flank with the Bloodthirster, who is very cleverly staying away from the Wraith Guard here. So, a little bit of a turn up for the books here. Khorne Daemonkin managed to steal the initiative. Somewhat unproductive turn for them, unfortunately, though. The Fleshhounds moved up to secure this objective just under that guy there. That was one of Sam's objectives, so that scored him a point. These guys just moved up here, knowing that they couldn't charge this turn anyway because they're scouted. Both the Soul Grinders tried to shoot at this Wave Serpent, and both managed to miss with all their shots. You know, Sam's good luck in stealing initiative completely failed him when it came to actually doing some damage. And yeah, these units ran the Blood Crushers actually had a really bad time of it, rolled a 2 for their run, and then a 1 on their fleet reroll. So slightly slow start for the Khorne Daemonkin, but he's got 1 point, and he's still holding objective 5, which I'll be able to score. It's over there, which I'll be able to score next turn with the rules of the mission. And he discarded Blood God's Scorn, which is kill a Psyker or fleeing unit. On to Eldar, turn 1. Okay, so the Eldar starting objectives: Combined Strike, kill something in as many phases as possible. Strands of Fate. For this I rolled a 4, which I was able to modify up by 1 as per the rules to become Secure Objective 5, which I was able to do. And then Scour the Skies, kill a flyer or fire monstrous creature. So, the army moved forward just a little bit here. The Avengers marched up into the woods. Farseer squad shot out to the side, swung the Serpent down here. Big move was the Wave Serpent, dropping out the Falcon, dropping out the Fire Dragons behind it to take on the Bloodthirster. And the jet bikes swung out to that side, and yeah, these jet bikes moved up to over there. Psychic phase, the Farseer managed to fortune the Dire Avengers, guide his own squad, and Mind War the Bloodthirsty. Won the Mind War by 1, but then the Bloodthirster passed his Invuln save, so no damage there. Then the Bloodthirster was worth so many points and such a big threat with that D weapon, I just had to get him off the table. So, the jet bikes, the fire dragons, the falcon all fired, did 1 wound. Knew this was going to take some more. Fired off the wave serpent, managed to roll double 1 for my serpent shields, but that one put a wound on him. Farseer and his squad managed to put another couple of wounds. Yes, it was down to 1 wound. Then I was faced with the awkward decision of leave the Dark Reapers to fire at the Fleshhounds and risk the Bloodthirster surviving, or fire at the Bloodthirster and risk the Fleshhounds surviving and assaulting me next turn. Decided after whittling the Fleshhounds down with the jet bikes from this side that the Bloodthirster was too high priority, so I blasted him with the missiles. Bloodthirster is out of there, First Blood, and Scour the Skies, and Combined Strike. So the Eldar take a 5-1 lead, because I also secured Objective 5 as per Sam's cards, and Strands of Fate. All the jet bikes jumped back behind cover, and the Eldar take an early lead, 5-1. So it's just the start of Sam's turn now, and he's rolled his reserves. He's managed to bring in all of his bloodletters, so that's 5 units of bloodletters, and there was enough banners there to pull in the demon prints as well as all the bloodletters. So got a huge number of units deep striking down this turn. There's 2 banners, 2 musicians in there, which is going to make it easier for him to deep strike them more accurately as well. As for his blood tithes, Unstoppable Ferocity, which gives them Feel No Pain, that's army-wide, and then Infernal Contempt, which gives him Adamantium Will, only affects the Slaughter Cult, which is the Bloodletters and a few other units. What units are the Slaughter Cult, sorry?
3 units of Bloodletters, the Demon Prince, and the Possessed Neurino.
Okay. So, as is their normal plan, the Bloodletters all deep struck down here in a huge blob, using his banners or musicians, whatever the shenanigans is, to get good accurate deep strikes. So they are all up in my grill now. Shooting was wholly ineffective, both Soul Grinders, but it wasn't completely. Both Soul Grinders shot for the Dire Avengers and left me with just the Exarch and 1 guy left, but they passed the leadership test. But that was the whole of the Khorne shooting. Assault phase, this unit of Fleshhounds charged into the Wave Serpent, took 2 hull points off it and ripped off the underslung Shuriken Cannon, but that's fine, it's still up and moving next turn. Over here, this Wave Serpent got charged, oh no it didn't, no, it was the Falcon that got charged by these Fleshhounds, and they just put a hull point on it. Holofield saved my ass from wrecked vehicles in both cases there. Objective-wise, Sam wasn't able to wreck the Falcon to secure Objective 5, which he drawn again, but he did capture Objective 4, and he also had behind enemy lines, which he managed to get 3 units just within 12, and got 6 on his D3, so that brings it up to 5-5 as we head into Eldar turn 2. And I've got some reserves to bring on here. Warp Spiders, no, and Swooping Hawks. Yes, so the Hawks are on. Eldar, turn 2. Forgot to mention the one other combat from the last turn. The Blood Crushers charged down off the hill, straight into the Fire Dragons, and killed them all for no return. So yeah, good solid kill for them there, and the Fire Dragons not had a good game today. Eldar turn 2, we've got Overwhelming Firepower, Kingslayer and Hold the Line. Those objectives suit me just fine. But let's see, because there's a lot of demons around, the Eldar really have to go for it this turn to make it count. So, over here, shimmied the Falcon away and pulled back the jet bikes. Dire Avengers got out of their Wave Serpent, and the jet bikes and the Dire Avengers fired at the Fleshhounds and finally got rid of them, and the Falcon shot for the Blood Crushers, but unfortunately only managed to do 1 wound, which was saved. These jet bikes didn't benefit from guide, it took them a while, but they eventually got through them. Swooping Hawks jumped down over here and dropped off their bomb at the unit of Bloodletters that were here, proceeded to then shoot them with their Louse Blasters, only actually killed a couple, and it was up to the Farseer squad to finish them off. Is that... yeah, that was... yeah, that's fine. Then the Wraithguard got out of the Falcon. No, got out the Wave Serpent, and the Spirit Seer cast Psychic Shriek on the unit of Bloodletters there, killed 3 of them, and then the unit opened fire on the Demon Prince, but had some terrible to-hit rolls with the Wraith Cannons, and only actually took 2 wounds off him. That left it up to this Falcon, put another Wave Serpent, put a wound on it, and then the Dire Avengers finished it off with their crack missiles. So, Bloodthirst, Demon Prince took a little bit of dealing with there. Other than that, the Farseer put Fortune onto that forward unit of Dire Avengers. I ran them up in front of the Wraithguard to deal with these Flesh Hounds. The front one was just in my deployment zone, so I had to kill him. With help from the Falcon, Wave Serpent as well, I managed to kill the front one and put a wound on the second one, so at least they're out of my deployment zone. And these Scatterbites had a good time picking off Bloodletters. So the Demon Army is severely reduced, but there's still far too much of it. Going to keep hold of Kingslayer, haven't done it yet, but I think I can. Going to roll for D3 for overwhelming firepower. It's a 5, so that's 3 points, excellent. And I've scored hold the line for 1, so that's 4 points that turn. That brings me up to 9 to 5 as we head into Chaos turn 3. So, a brutal turn for the Demons of Khorne there. Started off with summoning a unit of Flesh Hounds and moving this Soul Grinder over towards the jet bikes, shot at it, and they ran off, which meant he failed the charge he was lining up. So a little bit of a pain there, but he's, at least he didn't make the charge. Then it was really all about the charges this turn. Bloodletters tried to charge the Dark Reapers, failed. This unit of Bloodletters charged the Wraithguard, lost 1 for 3 kills, but the Wraithguard are fearless, so they don't care. This unit here managed to charge into the woods and wiped out the Dire Avengers for minimal losses. These guys charged the Wave Serpent and wrecked it, and the Blood Crushers charged this squad of Dire Avengers. Only managed to win combat by 2, actually put some wounds on him there, but a really brutal turn for the Demons of Khorne there. He scored no prisoners, unfortunately, despite having a D3, only rolled a 1. He's also holding secure objective 6, which is unfortunately for him right back here, so that's going to get nicked next turn by the Eldar. And then his final objective was Witch Hunter, which you would have thought he'd have held on to, but he's decided to discard it in favour of getting something better next turn. So things are looking bleak for the Eldar. Oh, he also shot out the Swooping Hawks with the flamer from that Soul Grinder. So really nasty demon turn there. But let's see if the Eldar can come back for this on turn 3. See if my Warp Spiders turn up. No, again, they don't turn up. Eldar, turn 3. Okay, so tough times for the Eldar. We had Secure Objective 4, which we were never going to get, right over here by this Soul Grinder. Secure Objective 6. No, sorry, that was Sam was holding Secure 6. I had Ascendancy, which is hold 3, and Kingslayer, so I needed to slay off that Herald. First thing I tried to do was get this Grav Tank over here to deal with the Skull Crusher, Soul Grinder, but unfortunately it mobilised itself and lost its last hull point on the ruins here, so that's a nice start, losing one of my Wave Serpents. Psychic phase was a little bit more productive. The Farseer managed to get off a Mind War. Unfortunately, didn't get it off well enough to hit the Herald, instead just killed a Bloodlet from his unit. But he did manage to guide this Jetbike squad, and the Spirit Seer cast invisibility on the Farseer's unit, so they're now invisible, so no, not allowed to see them, they're invisible. Shooting was a little bit more productive. The Farseer and this Jetbike squad both shot at the Herald's unit, wiped them all out in the end. Dark Reapers killed 2 out of the 3 Bloodletters that were going for them. And the Falcon decided not to shoot and instead to turbo boost to just within 3 inches of Objective 3. Now in combat, Dire Avengers lost to the Blood Crushers, and the Wraithguard suffered another one model down against these bloodletters, so really running out of models here. But then in the assault phase, I was able to move this guy, and we've just done the shenanigans of measuring, and this jet bike is within 3 inches of that objective without being within an inch of the bloodletters, and he has objective secured, so I've scored that. With Kingslayer on top of that, and Ascendancy for that one, and that one, I've actually managed to score 2 objectives, both worth D3 this turn. Then rolled D3, got 6 on both of them. So that's with the objectives that I was able to steal as well, and First Blood and Slay the Warlord. I'm up to 17-5 now, so although the Eldar are vastly running out of models here, we are well ahead on points. But let's see what the Khorne Daemonkin can do as we head into Chaos turn 4. Okay, so the demons continue to swarm over the Eldar lines this turn. Shooting was largely ineffective, just the Soul Grinder over here killed the last jet bike that rallied in the woods there. And that was literally the sum total of his shooting. It was all about getting to the objectives, because this turn Sam had domination, so he needed to score all 6. So that Soul Grinder got 1 there. The Empty Rhino got 1 there. Flesh Hounds over there charged, wrecked the Falcon, and score that 1 there. This Soul Grinder stuck around there and claimed that. These Blood Crushers charged the jet bikes, took a couple of wounds on the way in, but are still at full squad strength, playing that one. And then down here, these Bloodletters finally killed the last Wraith Guard, and the Spirit Seer failed his leadership test and was actually cut down in a somewhat unfortunate scenario. The Dark Reapers were charged by the one surviving Bloodletter, but their Starswarm missiles managed to kill him. But over here, these guys got into combat with the Farseer and his jet bikes. Despite the invisibility, he still put 4 wounds onto the squad. The main reason for this was these blood tide powers he's got. Insatiable Bloodlust, which gives them Furious Charge and Rage, so +2 attacks, +1 strength there, and then an extra +1 attack for Apocalyptic Fury. So these guys had mental numbers of attacks, which forced their way through invisibility, and that has claimed him domination. Didn't manage to kill my Farseer, and he held on his leadership, but things are not looking good for the Eldar here. We're still up on points, but Sam's got to roll for his 2 objectives, so domination.
I will do Ascendancy first.
Okay, Ascendancy. 2.
Domination.
D6.
What should be a 1?
It's a 3. So, moderate amount of points there, pretty much as expected.
So we get 6 for that.
So we head into Eldar turn 5. I am really down to... I have 1 model on the board at the moment. Oh no, I have 3. I've got the Dire Revengers as well. But in a second, the Warp Spiders are coming on. Eldar, turn 4 actually. It's only turn 4. Eldar turn 4, we had Big Game Hunter, we had Legacy of Sorrows, which is kill a character, and Domination, because yeah, like I was going to score Domination at this stage of the game. Warp Spiders came on over here and managed to wreck that Rhino, so that got me Big Game Hunter. Dark Reapers down here shot these Bloodletters, killed 3 of them, and the Farseer managed to cast Fortune on himself. Not that he needed it, because he passed all the saves in combat without needing rerolls, and killed one of the Bloodletters, but they're fearless, they're not going anywhere. So that scored me another point, so we are well out in front on points at the moment, but I'm still really light on models as we head into Chaos turn 5. The relentless tide of the demons continues to march on. This turn the Bloodletters were able to finish off the Farseer in combat, despite him having Fortune up, and the Dark Reapers were wiped out by fire from the Soul Grinder. Sam also used his Blood Tides to summon a Skull Cannon of Khorne, which managed to kill 2 Warp Spiders despite their flicker jump. Everything else has just moved up to get on objectives. So this turn he has acquired Kingslayer as one of his objectives and slayed the Warlord. He's also got Secure Objective 3, which was down over there. So he's starting to catch up on points, and I have only 3 models left on the table. Let's see if they can survive as we go into Eldar turn 5. So this turn I had Legacy of Sorrows, Secure 4 and Harness the Warp. None of which I was going to be able to do with all Warp Spiders. So all I did was simply try and move them out of the way to stay alive. Basically, if the game ends now, I've got a chance of winning it. If not, I've somehow got to keep those 3 guys alive for 1 more turn. Let's see if this carries on. It's a 3, game carries on. Chaos turn 6. Chaos turn 6. Everyone is ganging up on this poor little Warp Spider at the back there. Skull Cannon fired at him and killed the Exarch and 1 further guy, leaving just the single model left there. Harvester failed to do any damage from the Soul Grinder, and that Soul Grinder was in range till I flicker jumped out of range, so I have the 1 guy left. Let's see if this carries on to the final turn. That's game over. Let's count up the points and see who's won. So, we counted up the points. The Eldar had 21 points. Unfortunately, the Khorne Daemonkin had 23. So, yeah, those final turns there of just butchering my army and me not scoring anything in the last 2 turns meant that, yeah, Sam was able to win. The Khorne Daemonkin continue their unbeaten run on the channel, and the mighty Eldar have been stalled. Wow, that was an impressive game. I'm slightly in shock there at just how hard the Khorne Daemonkin assault hit me. I think part of the problem was when I wanted to move away from the Khorne Daemonkin, I had to move up forward to gain these objective markers. If I'd been able to pull back, I might have lived longer, but that's the game, and yeah, victory to the Blood God. Hey guys, Will here, and welcome to part 3 of my Ultimate Commander tournament vlog. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2 yet, then I'm going to put this all up in a playlist, so go back and check those out first so you know what I'm talking about and where we're at. So today is Wednesday the 10th of February, Ultimate Commander is only 10 days away now, and I've been quite fortunate since part 2 to get in 3 practice games, and 3 very different games as well. So the first one was against Sam's Orcs. Now, we were going to do this as a battle report, but it didn't really work. Basically, I got first turn and proceeded to just open up with every gun on his Orc army, and through a little bit of good luck and the way the lists balance against each other, by the end of my second shooting phase, he conceded with only about a quarter of his army still left on the table. I'd taken out all his trucks so his boys couldn't get forward, half his bikes had been blown up by Dark Reapers, Gorkanaut had took a melter gun shot from the Fire Dragons, and the battle wagon had been blown up by the combined firepower of the Wraith Guard and the Falcons. So yeah, he really didn't have a lot left, and that really just demonstrates the firepower of Eldar and how Orcs aren't quite there in the current metagame. I mean, it's a good Orc list, you know, it was certainly gave me some things to deal with, but there's just a complete mismatch there, and actually as a result of that, Sam's now switched from planning to play Orcs in the tournament to Khorne Daemonkin, which are probably his strongest army. So really solid game for the Eldar there. Second game was much better. That's the battle report that went up earlier this week against Tom's Grey Knights. Nice sort of close game in the early part, but the Eldar managed to steal the relic. We were playing the relic scenario because that's one that could come up in the tournament, and yeah, managed to get the relic and claim a pretty solid victory in the end, but certainly a good close game. And third game played last night. I haven't put the Batrep up for it yet, so I'm not going to leave any spoilers. This was against Sam's KDK, and that was a really close game. I literally went down to the last turn. If it had ended a turn earlier, the result would have been different to what it eventually was. So yeah, go and check that out. But from these missions, a few things have become apparent. Jet bikes are really good, but I haven't got the time and the cash to get any more this side of the tournament. So I'm going to have to stick with the 3 squads of 3, but you know, they do the job. Dire Avengers are doing amazing. They're just shredding everything with their Blade Storm, and yeah, really solid unit there. And the Wraith Guard, the new guys, have been underperforming a little bit. They've you know, not done quite what you'd expect from 5 destroyer shots. So I'm umming and ahhing as to whether or not to leave them in the list or to swap them out for some striking scorpions. So what I'm probably going to do is this weekend, when I get a game on Friday night, is switching the scorpions to the list, rejig it a little bit, and you know, see how that goes. Got at least one more practice game before the tournament, so be worth trying them out. Other thing I've learned with the Spirit Seer, this guy here, is I'm probably not going to be rolling on the generic powers from the Eldar book, at least not for his first power. The Psychic Shriek from the Telepathy discipline is so good. Certainly going to be trying to wangle that in there. So yeah, keep an eye out for that in the Batreps. So yeah, that's how it's going in terms of the list. Now I'm going to show you the little bit of progress I've made with the models.